So I shall give you all a couple of seconds to join. Great. Hello, everyone. Can I just confirm that you all can hear me and you can see me?
Yes. Hello, my dear.
Hello, Shireen. Great to see you. Hello, Mohit. Yusuf.
Great to see you too.
Great. So I will be very short and brief, and then I will hand over to our first presenters. First, we're going to hear from Orascom Construction. So just very quickly to everyone that's watching, you can submit your questions through Slido. So this is going to be the Cairo stream when you're on the Beyond Privilege platform, and we are giving each group 30 minutes to kind of share their bit about themselves and their graduate opportunities, and kind of what they'd be looking for in potential applicants to their company. And then we will go to the next company, and then we'll just bring everyone back to go through a Q&A and answer any of your questions. So without further ado, from my end, I'll hand over to Shireen and Yusuf.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Oh, Yusuf, you're on mute.
Sorry. Okay. Sure, I can begin. So my name is Yusuf Eldabi, and I am with Mrs. Shireen Eletribi. I am a business development coordinator at Orascom Construction, and Mrs. Shireen Eletribi is a HR senior manager at Orascom Construction. We'll begin by, I'll just show you a very quick overview of what Orascom Construction does, and then I'll hand it over to Mrs. Shireen, and she can take over for the HR graduate program. 1 second, let me just share my screen. All right, can you guys see this? Good.
Yes.
All right, so basically, Orascom Construction is a general EPC contractor, engineering, procurement, and construction. So basically, we are the people that do infrastructure projects in the sector of the engineering aspect, the procurement aspect where we get the actual tools, and the bread and butter of it, which is the construction. We actually make the project come to life. We are a group of 6 companies that is duly listed on the Nasdaq Dubai and the Egyptian Stock Exchange, because we are based in Dubai, and then one of the subsidiaries, which is Orascom Construction, is here in Cairo. Duly listed meaning that you can buy shares and it's publicly listed on the stock market. We have 6 companies, one of which is Orascom Construction, and then 2 American companies, which are Whites and Contract Watts. You'll see those on the top 2 right circles. Those are American companies, so they kind of give our portfolio the North American projects where they go into things actually like student housing and other aspects like that. B6, which is based in Belgium. You might, if you've ever been to Dubai and you've seen the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world, B6 is the contractor that made that come to life, and we have 50% of that. Imagro, Italy, and Orascom Construction United, UK. We are ranked on the engineering news record. We are the #4 contractor in Africa. The first 3 are Chinese companies, so we are kind of like the first homegrown company contractor in Africa. 103 in global contractors, #5 in telecommunication, #27 international contractors, and the difference between that and global contractors is the ability to kind of to execute projects outside of your home country. And the #10 contractor in the USA because of our American subsidiaries. We have multiple certifications when it comes to safety and quality and environmental awareness, such as the ISOs, the ASMEs, and the National Board certificates. These are all very reputable certifications to prove that you have the capacity to undertake the quality requirements for these large infrastructure projects. Orascom as a group is 86,000 employees, and we are 46,000 to the Orascom Construction subsidiary. The whole group is called Orascom Construction PLC, which is the publicly listed company, and then Orascom Construction SAE, which is a joint stock company. This is the subsidiary we are talking about, and this is where myself and Mrs. Shireen are at. We have about 2,700 equipment units at a market value of $295 million. And just a quick overview, I won't get into too many details, but the financial statistics. So as a group, we have about a $6 billion turnover as of 2022, a backlog of 5.5 billion, backlog meaning the works that are in progress and they're being invoiced at the moment. Including the B6, we have 8.5 billion of backlog. And as you can see, the percentage share of our works is mainly infrastructure. We do have commercial projects and industrial projects, but we focus on the development of certain aspects. When it comes to financing, we also arrange the financing for these projects. So we don't just execute, but it's called an EPC plus F, which is the finance part. And we've done multiple projects. You basically create the model for how the financing happens, because when these projects come to fruition, there needs to be a sort of a model to make sure that the contractor gets their money, that everything is guaranteed. So we provide that service. We've done that in multiple sectors. So in the transportation, we've done a monorail, which is one of the most ambitious projects here in Egypt. It's worth about $4 billion. And we've done the high-speed train, which connects port cities alongside the coasts of Egypt. That's about a 2,000-kilometer train. And in the water sector, we've done multiple projects when it comes to wastewater treatment. We are not only an EPC contractor, but we do also invest in these projects. So if we feel like, okay, we have the capacity to execute and we want to be a part of this development, a part of an initiative to help in the development of this country in this certain sector, then this is something that we look forward to. In the cement and fertilizers industry, we actually started in the cement group, and then we sold that in 2007 to what you may know as Lafarge right now. They bought it from us back in 2007. In the power sector, we've done multiple renewable projects, the first of their kind. I'll kind of get into that considering that this is focused on energy. And then in the debt raise, we have about $22 billion over the past 18 years, including $6 billion raised as ring-fence project finance. This means that they're focused on the project and not the company. It's kind of a liability kind of dynamic. $3 billion to non-bank liquidity through US and European Egyptian debt capital markets. And then we have over 30 relationships with international banks that provide these. So these are the sectors we kind of focus on. As you can see, they're mainly infrastructure sectors. So we focus on power, industrial, water, transportation, oil and gas, and commercial. And if you see that one on the far right, the commercial, that's the Grand Egyptian Museum. If you ever come by to Egypt, then you can definitely come by. It's one of the most ambitious projects in the country. It should be opened, I believe, later this year or early next year. And it is the largest archaeological museum in the world for a single civilization. I've been to it. I got the opportunity to work there for a little bit. It's honestly very impressive, and I don't think you should miss an opportunity to check it out. So a quick overview on our energy highlights. This is our green energy snippet. We did the 262 megawatt Ras Gharib wind farm, and this is Egypt's first IPP. IPP meaning it's an independent power producer, and this means that we basically can invest in this project and construct it, and then we use the electricity generated to be able to sell it to the government that can feed it into the infrastructure on the grid, leading into the community. When in progress right now is an additional expansion to it of 500 megawatts. We did the first integrated solar combined cycle, which is the Quraimat. Solar combined meaning that we mix between solar and gas turbines together in one plant to get the optimal efficiency. The first green hydrogen plant in the region, I'll actually get into that on our next slide, and hydropower contribution in multiple areas, not just in Egypt, but also in Burundi. Here's a quick list of the projects that we did for energy. If you can see on the last one on that list, you can see that during COP27, which was here in Cairo, in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, we signed a memorandum of understanding to develop and operate 3 gigawatts of wind energy in Egypt, which is it was one of the main things that were announced in COP27. It's very, very exciting, to be honest. So this is the 262 megawatts that I mentioned earlier. We have a 25-year operations contract for it, and that was completed back in 2009. We have our partners, Engie and Toyota. Engie is a French company, and Toyota is a Japanese company. The expansion of it that's currently ongoing, this is going to be about 84 wind turbines, also with the same construction partners, Engie and Toyota. Right now it's at about 45% completion, and we're on schedule to finish it by the middle of 2025. This is the integrated solar combined cycle, and this was the first integrated solar combined cycle plant. And this basically, it's a CSP, so concentrated solar plant. This brings the benefit of getting solar energy from both the heat of the sun and the light of the sun. And that's why you find those curved troughs that kind of like concentrate this to get the optimal energy efficiency. Some hydropower projects. So these are the ones we have done in Egypt. You can see that we have partners such as Vinci and Bilfinger. Vinci is also a French company, and this kind of just shows how our accessibility to the international markets is being utilized on our connections to partners, to financing, to technology transfer and knowledge transfer. And this is the one that's currently being conducted in Burundi. This is about 51 megawatts, and when this is completed in the middle of next year, then this will actually double the country's electricity generation capacity. So this is kind of like what we look for as projects. We want to make sure that these projects are impactful, they can help in the development of the country, and they can help directly benefit the citizens of the country. This is the green hydrogen facility. It's a 115 megawatt green hydrogen. So that means that we feed into the electricity of 115 megawatts, and then they use these 115 megawatts to use electrolysis to produce hydrogen to be able to use, whether that's for transportation, whether that's for ammonia production. So in this case, it's going to be fed to feed up to 90,000 tons of green ammonia. And the electricity that is being produced for this electrolysis, because electrolysis is a very electricity consuming process, this is all through renewable sources. So that's like wind farms and solar farms, and these are all integrated into this one big project of green hydrogen. In this project, we are an investor in it as well. So we are both an investor and we are the contractor for it as well. And then I'm just going to touch base on some conventional power projects. I won't get too deep into this, but we are able to deliver multiple mega projects simultaneously. I believe in the span of about 5 years, we delivered 9 mega projects from start to finish through multiple various models. Over our portfolio, we have over 28.5 gigawatts of power plants, and these span not only in Egypt, but through Algeria, Iraq, and Kuwait over the past 20 years. And then 12,100 megawatts of EPC works, and this is about 60% of what Egypt added in the past 5 years, which was 18,500. So we proudly hold that high, because we want to, being an Egyptian company, we want to make sure that our focus does go to what needs in our own homegrown country. Fast track generation. So those two projects, the 1,000 megawatt Asyut power plant and the 500 megawatt Dimyat power plant, those were both finished from we got the first fire from A to Z in about 6 months. So that was, I think it actually like held a record for the fastest first fire around. And then these two projects, these were part of something called the mega deal. This is the Borollos combined cycle power plant, and this is the New Capital combined cycle power plant. Each of these is 4.8 gigawatts, and these were part of a mega deal with Siemens here in Egypt. They were three projects, and Orascom was awarded two of them. And this was also under a EPC plus F structure. So we actually arranged the financing for these projects. Each one of these was about $2 billion. So it was one of the largest projects we've done, or they were one of the largest projects we've done. And this is something that we add to our portfolio, to our financing capabilities, and how we are able to access these financing through our connections with ECAs. ECAs are export credit agencies, and those are the development banks that actually provide financing with return to, for example, if it's an ECA in Japan, they would tell you, okay, we will help you finance, but get like material, 50% of the material would be from Japan. So that way it's kind of a win-win situation. So that's just a quick overview on the EPC plus F structure. And now I'll hand it over to Mrs. Shireen for our graduate program.
Hi, Yusuf. Hey, everyone. Apologies, I'll keep my camera off to save bandwidth. Just say hi down here. Okay, as for our graduate program, we have a very ambitious program that happens every year. Our summer internship is a pretty huge summer internship that takes almost the entire 3 months of the summer vacations. So what we do basically is we extend our arms and our sponsorships to every single engineering university in the country. Since Yusuf have demonstrated most of the projects for energy projects and very huge energy plants, we definitely look at certain majors to give them priority in our summer internships, like the mechanical engineers, the electrical engineers. Of course, we're a construction company, so the majority are civil engineers as well. And they go through an extremely robust selection process where they go through assessments and they go through exercises and teamwork exercises, and then they become selected to become part of this journey. And pretty much the journey is pretty exciting because each and everyone gets matched to a certain project, and then they start acting as a real engineer. And we start by students from third grades and the fourth grades in the university. So to give them a perspective of how the world of work will look like the moment they graduate. And what we make sure of that they take a rotational milestone around all departments of engineering that they need to know. So for instance, the engineer, they pass through contracts, through tendering, through procurement, through health safety, quality controls, a technical office, and so on and so forth. And we have few milestones where they become coached in the middle, and they get to do their own assignments as well, and they get to do a presentation as well at the end of the summer internship. This year, we were successful by training almost 1,700 interns, and what we give them as an opportunity afterwards, when they finish their bachelor degrees, they can come back next year and apply for the jobs, and we give them priority to become an employee as well. And by then, they skip the selection process because they've already been selected for our summer internship. Of course, we get them exposed to a lot of gurus in the world of engineering, where they become more, I call them more knowledge workers. And big part of this is that we are leaping into a lot of technology in this era of where we'll be seeing a lot of artificial intelligence coming in the work engineering sector. We also don't forget to expose them to this as well. Each and every single year, we try to increase the number of interns, especially those that are in urban places in Egypt, not necessarily those that are resides in Cairo or Alex, because Alex is the most close to the capital. Cairo, of course, is in the capital. And each year we see a significant rise of people that wants to come and work. It's very famous. We're by far the largest construction company. We have around 12,000 employees. Out of 8,000 are only engineers. And that's a pretty huge number. What I would tell the graduates and students sleeping into engineering, and just let me give you a glimpse of what has happened throughout the past 15 years in the entire globe when it comes to each and every single industry in the world has a curve. And there are jobs that becomes famous at the time, and there are jobs that doesn't become famous at the time. So what we believe in that for the past maybe 3 or 4 years with the rise of social media and the kind of globalization that's going on everywhere, people are starting to lose interest in becoming engineers. And that's by numbers and facts and figures. So, for instance, Italy, which is this country that used to export the best technical office engineers in the world, are reaching out to people and saying, I want you to go to engineering schools because people have dropped engineering schools. It's not anymore famous. Everybody wants to become something else but an engineer. And by this, I am actually urging each student that is good and that one day wants to become something in their lives and they want to achieve something, think they have this ability and this talent. Please make sure not to drop this interest. And this is very important, or else we will not have any development in any of our countries. The session before me, just before me and Yusuf, I believe our colleagues, I believe they're from somewhere between like Kenya and South Africa, they were speaking about that Africa needs a lot of energy and needs a lot of plants that produce energy. Of course, how are we going to do this without engineers? So it's still a hot job. It's still needed. So this is what I'm telling you. Take the chances right now because there's still a lot of development going into the world, especially Africa. And it's a hot spot right now, especially as well for us. We come from the Middle East. So the biggest gig right now is the KSA, it's the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And they are are attracting a lot of caliber from all over the world, actually, not only the Middle East. And this is something. And as a graduate, I encourage each and every one to make sure that they at least go to one summer internship and see how it looks really in the world of work as and not just be content or satisfied with just being a student and just waiting until I finish my years of graduation. That's pretty much what we do here in Egypt. And I would love to see some maybe exchange student programs happening in Egypt where we bring along some other students from other countries. Because us in Cairo, we send our students abroad, we send people to the US, we send people to the Middle East, of course. I would love to see people coming from Africa as students and exchange students. Pretty much, that's it. And by the way, Yusuf himself was a graduate of one of the programs that happened for fresh grads, and it's called LEAD, where we give you a springboard to become ahead of you inside the company. You are in the program for 2 years, maybe Yusuf can give you a glimpse of how this program was for him and how it helped him in his own career.
Great.